Obviously, as we know, right, it's Christmas season around here at the bridge. Christmas season is great giveaway season. We, this time of year, we endeavor to spend less money on ourselves so that we can do more for others, and we call that the Great Giveaway. And this year, we have a fantastic partner organization called Breaking the Chains that is endeavoring and working tirelessly to end human trafficking and sex trafficking right here in the Valley. Now, this morning, we have a special treat with us. We have one of the board members of this organization who also happens to be the District Attorney of Fresno County. So would you put your hands together and join me in welcoming Lisa Smittcamp to the stage? Well, Lisa, thanks so much for being with us here at the bridge this morning. Before we launch in to hear about what you do and what's going on with Breaking the Chains, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up where you are now?
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. This is my third service, so I sort of feel like a bridge person now. I feel very welcome here. I might even come back and come to church. So I'm a Fresno girl. I was born and raised here. I attended Fresno schools. I went to college down in Los Angeles, and I returned for law school. I worked as a private attorney in a civil firm for a couple years, and then started working in the Madera County DA's office in 1997 as a criminal prosecutor, and in 2001 moved over to the Fresno office, and in 2014 I ran for DA, and I became the elected DA. And I think I failed to mention in the two previous services that that's sort of my second job. My first job is being a mom and a wife. I have two children. I have a daughter who's 15 and a son who's almost 13. So I'm in it. I'm in the teenage, eye-rolling years. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. We've been learning here as we're getting to know Deborah and Tiffany and Breaking the Chains, just some of the unique challenges we have here in Fresno, specifically in Fresno County, relative to human trafficking. And I'm sure you have a unique perspective on that, being in the legal system, seeing cases come through. Tell us a little bit about that and some of the unique challenges that Fresno faces with human trafficking.
Okay, so human trafficking is a worldwide problem. It's a statewide problem. It's a national problem. But in Fresno, we really have an epidemic of it, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. One of them is the high concentration of poverty. There are a lot of kids who are in foster care. There are a lot of kids who are being raised in homes where there's not a lot of parental supervision. But the ironic thing is also is that over 60% of the kids who are involved, usually it's young ladies, sometimes young men, who are involved in human trafficking come from middle class or above families. So it's not just a poor person's problem. And I think the thing that makes Fresno unique really is the geographic location. We're right in the middle. We are close to the coast. We're right in the middle of San Francisco and Los Angeles. And there is a track really that people go on. Human traffickers tend to move their victims around. They don't want them near their loved ones. They don't want them near their support system or their families. And so they move them, and Fresno really is a hub geographically for that movement. And I also think that there's a lot of really hardworking families here in the Fresno area, and the absence of the parent is a big deal for our communities now. And I always, you always think like, oh, that must be low-income people or people who don't care about their kids. Well, I'll just tell you, here I am. I got here at 7:45. It's 12:03. Do you know where your children are? My children are at home without me. And as great of a parent as my husband is, they could be on the internet. They could be watching video games just the same as when I'm home and I'm distracted by my phone, or I'm distracted by work, or I'm distracted by the fact that I've bought 2 out of 114 Christmas gifts that need to be purchased by next week. So it's not, these other people who are leaving their children. And I think that's kind of the bad news. The good news is in Fresno is that we have a dynamic system of support here between the Fresno Police Department, the FBI, my office at the DA's office, the U.S. Attorney's office, as far as criminal prosecution goes. But what we call the NGOs, the non-governmental agencies, are fantastic, and Breaking the Chains is right at the top of that list. So we're very lucky to be able to work with them, and because not every person who is in involved with human trafficking comes through the criminal justice system. Some of them are too afraid to participate with cops and prosecutors. And so Breaking the Chains services those people also.
Yeah, and you sit on the board of Breaking the Chains. What would you say is so unique about Breaking the Chains? It's obviously doing fantastic work. There's amazing stories of life change, freedom and release from this trap that these folks are stuck in. What is it about Breaking the Chains that's so unique and so powerful?
So I think the thing that makes Breaking the Chains so effective and so credible is the fact that they're led by a lady named Deborah Rush, who is a second-generation survivor. And her and her co-founder, Tiffany Apodaca, have brought such authenticity to the process of recovery for people who are going through this, who are rescued and come out of the life. Because human trafficking is the worst crime as far as the long-term effects on the victim. I mean, sexual assault and rape and gun violence are all horrific, horrific crimes. But human trafficking has a way of stealing people's souls. It steals their self-worth, it steals their values. Anything that they knew before they went into the life is taken away from them. And it's almost what a lot of people call modern-day slavery. And it is the degradation of people's souls. Even if people had a relationship with God or with Jesus before, it's taken away. And the guilt that people come out with is really horrific. So Deborah is not just a victim, and she's not just a survivor, but she is a highly, highly intelligent and articulate lady. And she found TIFF through church, and they have taken this very small nonprofit and literally blown it up to a local, statewide, and nationally recognized organization that is reaching out. And the tentacles of Breaking the Chains are certainly not as big as the human traffickers are, but they're doing their darndest to make sure that they try to get bigger. And they're innovative and smart. They're educated. They do all kinds of techniques, and they've educated themselves in trauma. And they're really trying to teach these survivors how to do life again. And they're amazing.
Yeah, amazing. So here at the Bridge, there might be some of us sitting and thinking, I don't have Lisa's platform as the DA of the county, or I don't have Pastor Andrew's platform each Sunday. What can I possibly do? The problem seems so big. I feel like I'm so small in comparison. How can I help? What would you say to those folks?
Well, what I say to people is this, is every single person in this room is relevant and important. And it doesn't matter. All you need is one of two things. You need a little bit of time or a little bit of money. And we all have either one or both of those things. Financial contributions are always very, very important to any nonprofit organization. And it doesn't matter. It's not a cheesy little plug to say your $5 matters, because it's true. Because if every person gave $5, you start multiplying the number of bodies in here, that's a significant amount of money. $5,000 doesn't hurt either. So if you have that and that's in your heart, you're more than welcome to do that too. But any amount, really, even if, and especially if it's on a consistent basis, if it's $5 a month, $10 a month to commit, is a huge help for them. And again, I'm learning as I sit here even this morning, one thing that I think hasn't been brought up in here or the panel discussions that are taking place after is that Breaking the Chains cannot accept governmental money because they are a faith-based organization. And grant opportunities will come up through the federal and state grants sometimes, and I'll forward them to Deborah, and she'll forward them back saying, sorry, we can't apply for this because we're faith-based. And she will not compromise her faith and her Christian beliefs for governmental money. And so that's why she is just out constantly. She could be in sales, she could be in law, she can be in advocacy, because if you get the chance to meet her, you'll see. And the other thing that people have is time. Because everyone in this room has some skill. I don't care if you crochet, I don't care if you bake cookies. The fact that you're in church means that you have whether it's a brand new relationship with Jesus Christ or it's lifelong. And to sit with girls who are surviving and survivors and share Jesus with them. I mean, that's one thing, just to do Bible study with them. If you have any talent at all, if you're in construction, men might say, oh, I'm not going to go knit or teach them how to bake cookies. These are girls who do not have that foundation that so many of us were blessed to have. My grandma taught me how to cook. I learned how to sew a button on in Girl Scouts. And they don't have that. So if you have that, that's great. And if you're a big strapping man and you think, well, all I know how to do is concrete work, or all I know how to do is garden or landscape, or we're not going to ask you to cut the Christmas tree though, because we know you're not all that good at it, Pastor. But maybe Gilbert might come with his chainsaw. We could recruit Gilbert, but you could, Sir Pastor. I'm teasing you. But anything like that, everyone has a talent. If you're a hairdresser, if you're a manicurist, if you're a barber, anything, if you just can go and share time with them because they don't have the benefit. I got to meet Max in the back, who I witnessed his baptism, which was so cool. I had a lot better makeup on before that ceremony because it brought tears to my eyes. But somebody, I don't know, Max, I'm going to call you out. Are you in the room? Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But men shouldn't be afraid of this work either, because a lot of these women have never trusted a man. A man has been someone who has only treated them as a sexual object. And so to just have a man to say, hey, I'm praying for you, and I'm here, and I've been there, and been there, done that, and to share your recovery story, whatever. There isn't anybody in this room that doesn't have something to contribute. And I really have to say how moved I am that the Bridge has taken this on. So God bless you all for taking this on in your ministry, because this is a really cool opportunity for Fresno. We haven't seen a church really get behind this organization like this, and I think it could be the beginning of something magical.
Amen. Well, Lisa, thank you for being with us this morning. It's been fantastic to have you.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Lisa and some of her colleagues, the director of the local branch of the FBI, some others in law enforcement who are part of the human trafficking task force, were actually with us on campus multiple hours this morning. They were part of a panel over in the ground floor, and we recorded that, and we're going to be posting that content on our YouTube channel later in the week. So if you weren't able to swing by earlier this morning and catch the panel, man, it was both a tremendously challenging and encouraging time to know what it is that's going on here in Fresno, but in an encouraging way, how we as the Bridge Church can partner in a continued fashion with breaking the chains, with local law enforcement and the legal system, to make sure that in the name of Jesus, we are about helping human trafficking come to an end here in Fresno and in the Valley. So definitely check out our YouTube channel later this week and watch one of those panels.